The objectivation of art, which is what society, from its external perspective, takes to be art's fetishism, is itself social in that it is the product of the division of labor. That is why the relation of art to society is not to be sought primarily in the sphere of reception. This relation is anterior to reception, in production. Interest in the social decipherment of art must orient itself to production rather than being content with the study and classification of effects that, for social reasons, often totally diverge from the artworks and their objective social content. Since time immemorial, human reactions to artworks have been mediated to their utmost and do not refer immediately to the object. Indeed, they are now mediated by society as a whole. The study of social effect neither comes close to understanding what is social in art, nor is it in any position to dictate norms for art, as it is inclined to do by positivist spirit. The heteronomy, which reception theory's normative interpretation of phenomena foists on art, is an ideological fetter that exceeds everything ideological and that may be inherent in art's fetishization. Art and society converge in the artwork's content, Gehalt, not in anything external to it. This applies also to the history of art. Collectivization of the individual takes place at the cost of the social force of production. In the history of art, real history returns by virtue of the life of the productive force that originates in real history and is then separated from it. This is the basis of art's recollection of transience. Art preserves it and makes it present by transforming it. This is the social explanation of its temporal nucleus. Abstaining from praxis, art becomes the schema of social praxis. Every authentic artwork is internally revolutionary. However, whereas society reaches into art and disappears there by means of the identity of forces and relations, even the most advanced art has, conversely, the tendency towards social integration. Yet contrary to the cliché that touts the virtues of progress, this integration does not bring the blessings of justice in the form of retrospective confirmation. More often, reception wears away what constitutes the work's determinate negation of society. Works are usually critical in the era in which they appear. Later, they are neutralized, not least because of changed social relations. Neutralization is a social practice of aesthetic autonomy. However, once artworks are entombed in the pantheon of cultural commodities, they themselves, their truth content, are also damaged. In the administered world, neutralization is universal. Surrealism began as a protest against the fetishization of art as an isolated realm, yet as art, which after all surrealism also was, it was forced beyond the pure form of protest. Painters for whom the quality of peinture was not an issue, as it was for André Masson, struck a balance between scandal and social reception. Ultimately, Salvador Dali became an exalted society painter, the Laszlo or Van Dongen of a generation that liked to think of itself as being sophisticated on the basis of a vague sense of crisis that had in any case been stabilized for decades. Thus, the false afterlife of surrealism was established. Modern tendencies, in which erupting, shock-laden contents, Inhalte, demolish the law of form, are predestined to make peace with the world, which gives a cozy reception to unsublimated material as soon as the thorn is removed. In the age of total neutralization, false reconciliation has of course also paved the way in the sphere of radically abstract art. Non-representational art is suitable for decorating the walls of the newly prosperous. It is uncertain whether that also diminishes the eminent quality of artworks. The excitement with which reactionaries emphasize this danger speaks against its reality. It would be truly idealistic to locate the relation of art and society exclusively as mediated in problems of social structure. Art's double character, its autonomy and fait social, is expressed ever and again in the palpable dependencies and conflicts between the two spheres. Frequently, there are direct socioeconomic interventions in artistic production, a contemporary instance of which is the long-term contracts between painters and art merchants who favor what is called work with a personal touch, or more bluntly, a gimmick. That German expressionism vanished so quickly may have its artistic reasons in the conflict between the idea of an artwork, which remained its goal, and the specific idea of an absolute scream. Expressionist works could not totally succeed without betraying themselves. Also important was that the genre became politically obsolete as its revolutionary impetus went unrealized, and the Soviet Union began to prosecute radical art. Nor should it be concealed that the authors of that movement, which went unreceived until 40 or 50 years later, had to make a living and were compelled, as Americans say, to go commercial. This could be demonstrated in the case of the most German expressionist writers who survived World War I. What is sociologically to be learned from the fate of the expressionists is the primacy of the bourgeois profession over the need for expression that inspired the expressionists in however naive and diluted a fashion. In bourgeois society, artists, like all who are intellectually productive, are compelled to keep at it once they have taken on the trade name of artist. Superannuated expressionists not unwillingly chose marketably promising themes. The lack of any imminent necessity for production, coupled with the concurrent economic compulsion to continue, is apparent in the product as its objective insignificance.